All right, welcome Danielle to another five questions. And Danielle, you're down somewheres in Florida.
Yes, I am in West Palm Beach. Just moved here Friday.
Awesome. And how long have you been studying law of attraction for?
It's got to be 4 years about now.
Okay, that's not bad. And who would you say is the number one person that you really listen to? Abraham Hicks?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
hmm
Very common answer. All right,
hmm
let's dive into your questions. What's your number one most exciting question you want to ask?
Okay. So sometimes I feel bad and wrong for not feeling bad.
Very well said. I think a lot of people can relate to that. So part of you has like a belief that I should feel bad. So let's dive into that a little bit. So explain that a little bit more.
So if I talk to, say, for example, a family member, my family has a lot of stuff going on in New Jersey, COVID,
Yeah,
protesting, all of that.
yeah,
And when I talk to them, they feel very low, very down here, scared, bad, just not where I am. I'm here. And I don't feel bad. And I also feel bad that I don't feel like that. Like, well, I'm just gonna stay up here.
yeah. What comes to mind is something that Abraham Hicks says, which is you can't help a poor person by being poor, right?
Mm.
So, the best way we can help those people who are struggling emotionally, whether it be, depression or contrast or whatever it is that they're going through that weighs them down, you know, by us lowering our vibe and stepping out of our alignment and playing the poor you game, that doesn't serve us because that pulls us out of our alignment. And, I don't think it serves them. So, for me, my goal is to empower people. It's to teach people to be happy. It's to get them to play that fucking happy game
Yeah.
where they're learning to take their power back over circumstances and not allow circumstances to dictate their emotional state. And if we want others to be able to learn that for themselves and apply that for themselves and be happy for themselves, then we can't become their crutch to their happiness. So if growing up, my kids are dependent on me to be happy and me satisfying them and pleasing them to be happy all the time, well, what's going to happen when I'm not around anymore? Right.
Right.
So would you agree that they have the ability to practice the same mindset work that you practice that you use to feel good?
I do agree that they have
Yeah,
that
so
option.
so somebody can choose to be an angry person if they want. They have that freedom. Somebody
hmm
can choose to be a sad person if they want. They have that freedom. But I think everybody has the freedom to choose to work on their mindset, to do a morning practice, to focus on what feels good. And by allowing them to see you do those things and feel good, then I think over time maybe it's going to inspire them to do the same thing. But I don't think there's any reason for you to feel guilty for them not choosing to make being on a high flying disc a priority. Would that make sense?
It does. And then I guess that also brings up this now that, so my sister, for example, I feel that when I'm here and I talk to her and she's down here and I just keep staying here, she's just she gets to the point where she's like, I don't even want to call Danielle. I don't even want to talk to her because she just talks about all this stuff up here. And no, I
Yeah.
don't even.
Yeah. Because that vibrational gap creates a discomfort for her, right?
Mhm.
For her to feel your level of joy and your level of happiness. And it's not you specifically that's creating the discomfort, it's her own perspectives. It's
Okay.
her own beliefs of, oh, I can't get there, which is completely false. It's her own beliefs, maybe, oh, she's got it lucky and I don't, right? So it's never you, the person, that triggers somebody else into a certain emotional state. It's their own belief systems that trigger them into those states.
Okay. So it's not me making her uncomfortable being there. It's that gap that she feels.
It's the perspectives that come to the surface that she's practicing that might become more apparent when she's around somebody like you who might be really happy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's not you per se, it's her perspectives, it's her mindset that gets triggered when she's around somebody that's really happy.
Okay. That makes sense. I always thought it was more like, oh, that's annoying that she's happy like that.
Yeah, and the reason she gets triggered is maybe she's got a belief that she's not good enough, maybe that she's a victim to her circumstances. So, you can't know what somebody's practicing in their mindset.
Mm-hmm.
However, she has the opportunity, just like anybody else, to work through the beliefs and perspectives she's practicing and to work through that trigger. It's like the call we did on the collective where we talked about, what to do when somebody else lowers your vibe, right? And the answer is number one, you can go live in a cave.
Mm-hmm.
Option number two is change everybody around you so that they're the person you want them to be so that they don't trigger you. And I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
number one or number two is easier, but they're both not very realistic. And then
Right.
option number three is explore your own perspectives, your own mindset, what it is you have going on that person is triggering in you. And by working on that for yourself, you can get to a place where that person is no longer a trigger.
Okay. Okay. And that was the other thing too, was like, a lot of times when the phone rings and it is somebody that is normally in that state, I'm like, no, no.
Yeah, and you can't be responsible for their happiness, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
not fair for them to put that pressure and that responsibility on your shoulders, right? One of the
Right.
favorite talks I've ever attended was at a Hay House conference with Carolyn Miss, who she wrote a book called Anatomy of the Spirit. And she must be in her 70s now. And when she came on stage, it was like right after there was Wayne Dyer, there was somebody else, and then there was her. And she came on stage like this angry old school teacher, and she started, this is a big spiritual conference, and she started kind of almost telling off the audience, saying, how dare you put the responsibility of your own happiness on somebody else's shoulders, right? And if your family is, calling you up to complain, calling you up hoping you're going to make them feel better, looking for sympathy, that's not fair to you, right? Everybody has to be responsible for what they have going on inside of them, and nobody can shift other people's emotional states.
Right. Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah. Literally, the way we can serve other people the most is by serving ourselves, is by being that person where you're loving your life so much, where you're so happy, and other people can see that. Then they're going to come to you and they're going to say, wow, Danielle, like, I don't know how it is that you're so happy and you're manifesting so much and you've got such a great life. I'd love for you to share some of your knowledge with me. I'd love for you to share with me what it is you're doing so that I can live the similar life that you're living.
Hmm. Love it. So just keep doing what I'm doing, feeling good, staying in my highest vibration.
Totally. And do you ever notice when you try to, you know, when we learn these processes and these teachings, for a lot of us, they impact our lives in such a positive way that we want to share it with everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you ever notice when you try to share this stuff with somebody who's not in the receiving mode, oftentimes it'll backfire and they'll get more angry than anything, right? And that's why it's so important to just do it for you. And then when somebody is in the receiving mode for this stuff, let them come to you.
Okay. It's just like with food. You can't tell someone what they should be eating. By example, how do you look like that?
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Okay.
Awesome. Great questions.
Love it. All right. My next question would be, sometimes I just feel kind of like a like I have a blanket of like yuck on me. And I'm not sure what it is. Like I'll get out of the shower. I'm feeling great when I get in the shower. I get out and I just get out and I'm like, oh, what is that? And I just try and get rid of it as fast as possible. Is that something that I should try and like get to the root of? Like, why do I randomly feel like this? What is it?
Yeah, if it keeps coming back, I would explore it for sure. Um, And the best thing to use would be like the belief tree process. So, and you're familiar with the belief tree process because you're in the collective. And I
Yeah.
would just use that probing question. So, like, if you wake up with that, and a lot of people sometimes will wake up with that. So, like, if you wake up with it or during the day you notice it, just
Mhm.
ask that question. Even if you can't tell what that emotion or what that feeling is, you ask the question, what must I believe is true to feel this way? Or I feel this way because, and don't try to analyze it, just see what answer pops into your head. And that'll probably give you a clue as to what's triggering that. And if it keeps repeating like that, it's likely the same thing that keeps coming up.
Okay. Yeah, I hope it would be the same thing and not a whole bunch of random stuff.
Yeah. No, it's my guess is if it always feels the same thing and you recognize it as like it's always when I get out of the shower or something like that, then it's probably the same belief, the same perspective that keeps creeping up out of
Okay.
your unconscious awareness.
Okay. And it seems that it's usually when I am feeling really good and it's been for a while, I'm like, wow, this is like really awesome. And then all of a sudden it's like, bam, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, and it could be something like, some people have a belief or a fear that it's not safe to be happy all the time, right? So
Yeah.
it's interesting, the advantage of this belief tree process is that when you ask the right probing questions at the right time, it's really interesting some of the answers that come through because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they feel like they come way out of left field and we have no idea that we were practicing that perspective. And sometimes it's just a matter of bringing that into our awareness and saying, oh, did I really believe that? Have I been really thinking that? Okay, well, it's time to let that shit go, and then choosing the new perspective and releasing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will definitely do that next time.
Yeah, try that and keep me posted. I'm curious to see what'll come up for you.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
A little scared about that one.
There's nothing to be scared of. Everybody's scared of emotions and clearing their stuff and all this stuff. And I've been helping people clear stuff for probably 7 or 8 years now, and I've yet to see somebody's head explode or
Yeah.
or life get worse from clearing a negative emotion or perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so I will sit and think about, my future 2.0.
Okay.
And consistently I've been, improving for the past however many years. When I think so far into the future of where I ultimately want to be, it feels so good. And then I have that, yeah, right. You're not ever going to get there. I'm like, oh, no, not true. Stop.
Okay.
But it kind of seems to always come up. So is that like, so
So same example as the belief tree process. So that yeah right feeling. If you could tune into that yeah right feeling on a 0 to 10 scale, how strong would you say that yeah right feeling is?
it's like a 10.
Okay. And try to stay out of your head. So I'm just going to say something, see the first thing that pops in. So I feel that way because what's the first thing that pops in your head?
I don't think that it's possible for me.
Okay. And I feel that way because,
I think that I have to do a lot of work to get there.
okay. So is it possible for other people?
To get there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have other
Yes,
people gotten there?
absolutely.
Okay. And it's a dream of yours, it's a desire of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Does that desire and that dream excite you?
So much.
Okay. Would your inner being get you excited about something that you can't have?
No.
Absolutely not. So if you can conceptualize it and it excites you, you can
Mm-hmm.
absolutely experience it. Okay.
Okay.
And other people can experience it too. So if other people can and have, what it sounds like to me is your mental block is I can't figure it out. I don't know how to get there. I don't know. I don't have the capacity for all the effort that's needed to get there. Is that what goes through your mind?
Yeah, all the efforting that needs to
Okay.
take
And
place.
is it possible that your inner being has a shortcut through all that efforting?
I'm sure it's possible. Yeah.
Is it possible that your inner being has a solution to every problem?
Yes.
And is it possible through the power of your alignment that you can totally get there?
I think so. And I think that's where I get stuck.
Okay. So that yeah, right feeling was a 10 when we first started. Would you still say it's a 10 or has it shifted a little bit?
I would say it's like an 8
It's an 8. Okay. And I still feel that feeling because,
because I think getting there takes a lot of time and effort.
okay. And did it take a lot of time and effort for everybody that's gotten there?
Not everybody.
Okay. And if it was a really fun ride, if you were really enjoying the journey, enjoying the process, and
Mm-hmm.
totally rocking it, would it matter how long it took?
No.
Okay, good. So, can you go down that path, not for where that path is going to take you, which it will eventually, but take the path for the sheer pleasure of the path itself?
Yes.
Good. Because if you do that, you'll get there so much quicker than you could ever possibly imagine. I can almost guarantee it.
Okay.
How does the yeah, right feeling feel now?
Way less, like a 5.
Good. And I still feel that feeling because,
Because I still think it's going to take hard work and effort.
okay,
And I think that I feel that way because a lot of the people that I know that are there, that's what they've had to do.
okay. And do you think all of them? So here's the thing about hard work, right? Or the definition of work. So for me, I wrote, power manifesting, and like the first draft was done in like 3 weeks. Okay. People say writing a book is hard work. For me, writing a book was super fun. I totally enjoyed the process. Did I spend a lot of time typing on a keyboard? Absolutely. Most people would categorize that as work. For me, that's not work. That's play. That's fun.
Okay.
Right? So,
Yeah.
can you shift your mindset? Can you reframe your perspective around this journey that, yeah, it might take some muscle or some discipline, but can that muscle and discipline be fun?
Absolutely.
Can it be a pleasurable journey?
Yes.
And if it's a pleasurable journey, will it feel like effort and hard work?
No, not at all.
Good. So we just took effort and hard work out of the equation for you.
Yeah.
So how does that yeah right feeling feel now?
See you later. Adios.
Good. So do you feel lighter?
Yes, I feel excited.
Awesome. Good. And we're going to talk about that in the collective, I think, next week or the week after, about getting people to really step back and how to focus in on the pleasure of the present moment, because that is the key and one of the secret ingredients to really fast manifestation.
Awesome.
Awesome. Great questions. You got another one to throw at me?
I do. Okay, so friends. When I'm talking with friends or acquaintances and the subject of my business comes up and they want my help, I automatically think they want it for free, and that is why they are friendly or friends with me, so that they can get that from me, like using me.
Okay.
And that's from a past experience, but it's like, he's there.
Okay. So as soon as a friend approaches you in that way, what's the first thought, the first emotion that gets triggered? Can you tell what emotion gets triggered?
It's like disappointment.
Okay. So there's a belief of they just want to use me. Yeah. So I would use the belief tree process on that.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. It's like they want my skills for free.
Yeah. And there might be a belief of everybody wants a piece of me. So when you start working through the layers, you'll probably notice that that's a pattern that shows up maybe in multiple parts of your life in the past.
Yes.
And once you clear that, once you release that, then they will no longer trigger you when they approach you like that.
Okay.
Right? Because you can't be triggered into something that you're not carrying. right? So somebody who's got a lot of emotions of not good enough, if you just say one tiny thing, then it might totally set them off into this world of not good enoughness and negative emotion. But like, if you walk up to the rock and say, "Hey, rock, you suck," right? Do you really think that he's going to just dive into the not good enoughness? No, and it's because when we carry those negative emotions, we're more easily triggered into them. Somebody who's got anger issues, it's because, it's not because they have anger in their DNA. It's just because they have a big bucket of emotional baggage filled with anger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for you, once you clear that emotion of disappointment or whatever might be underneath that layer, then those people won't be triggering you into those emotional states anymore.
Okay. All right, good. I'm gonna have some homework to do after this. I love it.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the stuff, if somebody were to ask me, if I want to be really successful at law of attraction, what's the number one piece of advice? And the number one piece of advice is doing that inner work. It's identifying those things you're carrying in your attraction point, the negative emotions, the false perspectives, and then working your way out of them. Because your physical reality will always be a direct reflection of what you're carrying inside of you. So if you're always carrying not good enough, your relationships will reflect that back to you. You will work well. All aspects of your life are always reflecting back to you what you're putting out vibrationally. So clearing this stuff, and the reason we put so much focus lately in the collective on the belief tree process and the freedom formula is because these are the processes that when you apply them, you literally release these things and you literally change your physical reality experience.
Okay, that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah, you're completely on the right track.
Okay, awesome. So then I think, well, your answer to this question may be the same too, the belief tree. This one is, and I feel shitty for even asking this question.
No, that's good.
So certain people annoy me.
Yeah.
Just like being around certain people. And it could just be like the day where I am, say, like in the gym working out and someone will walk by me and I'm like, "Oh, don't talk to me. Or they're doing something and it's just annoying.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is that happening? Why am I feeling like that? Because I love people. I like being around people.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it might just be that you don't want them to break your flow at the gym, right? You can, again, go back to that same probing question, right? What must I believe is true to feel annoyed? Or I feel annoyed because, and just see what comes up.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's good that you acknowledge that those emotions are there. So a lot of people will try to like be neutral to those emotions or block them out or not recognize them. But it's important to remember that those emotions are the indicators to the perspectives that we want to shift, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, anytime you feel a negative emotion, that's an indicator that you're practicing a perspective that's not serving for you. And that negative emotion is an indicator that you have a perspective that if you can identify and shift it, you're going to raise your vibration and become more of a vibrational match to more of the things that you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that is what I try and do whenever I feel something that doesn't feel right. I'm like, okay, why do I feel like that? And sometimes I do try and just push it away because I don't want to like marinate in those feelings.
Totally. And you're right. You definitely don't want to marinate in them. But if it's something you notice that keeps coming up, that's when you want to sit down and say, okay, so this emotion of unworthiness keeps coming up, then that means there's a perspective there that I keep practicing that I'm going to want to let go of.
Okay. Okay, great. Makes sense.
Awesome. That's
I
it.
got another one for you.
You got one more? Yeah, let's finish off with one more. Keep going.
Okay. So sometimes I'll feel fear around certain situations that I know are going to present themselves, or like uncertainty. And it could be having a conversation with somebody, a client, a friend, a family member, raising prices.
Yeah.
Like fear of uncertainty.
Yeah. So fear of the unknown, is that the same thing as fear of the of uncertainty?
Yeah, I think so. And maybe it's more so fear of it's not going to go the way that I want it to.
Okay. So if it doesn't go the way you want it to, what's the worst thing that could happen?
It's just a not great conversation, or it just doesn't go the way that I want to.
And would you agree that things in the past sometimes have gone not the way you want it to?
Absolutely.
And you're still sitting here today?
Yes, I am.
And you're still rocking it in down in Florida, wherever you're rocking it?
Yeah.
Awesome. You've always made it to the other side of whatever challenges come out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So knowing that your inner being is always there, providing that guidance and solutions to all the problems and all the things, is really anything to worry about?
No,
No.
because whatever happens is supposed to happen. Right?
Absolutely. Even it's Abe says, it's not the path of no resistance, it's the path of least resistance. All of these pieces of contrast are meant to help us grow and expand and gain new awareness and shift our vibration so we're a better match to the things that we really want. So even though contrast is often uncomfortable, it's not a bad thing. And the more we can be okay with contrast showing up and not push against it, the quicker we're going to move through it.
Okay. And I guess sometimes I forget about the contrast.
Well,
Like
I know we all do. We all do. And that's why using the term fertilizer is so good in the collective, right? Is literally it's fertilizer. It's there for your growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Awesome.
Awesome. Great set of questions, Danielle.
Thanks, Nick. That was fun.
Good. Thanks for playing with me.
Of course.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.